This is the guided note video for key components of linear equations in standard form. The learning target is I can find the x-intercept and y-intercept given a standard form equation. We will always see a line in one of three forms: slope-intercept, standard, or point-slope form. Each of these forms provides us with valuable information. When given an equation in standard form, we can easily find the x-intercept and the y-intercept with a little bit of algebra. So first off, let's remember the general form for a standard form equation. We have ax plus by equals c, where a, b, and c are replaced with numbers. So before we actually find what the x-intercept and the y-intercept of a line in standard form are, let's define what an x-intercept and a y-intercept actually are. So the x-intercept is just where our line crosses the x-axis. So that would be our horizontal number line. And similarly, the y-intercept is where our line crosses the y-axis. Remember, our y-axis is just our vertical number line. Okay, pause the video if you need more time. I'm going to move on. So if we think about it, if we are trying to find an x-intercept, or where our line will cross the y-axis, or x-axis, sorry, you don't have to write this, but if I draw just a little coordinate plane, not the straightest line in the world, so I've got my x-axis here, I've got my y-axis here, and I have some line that looks like this. And I am looking for my x-intercept, or this point right here, which we will eventually write as an ordered pair. No matter where my x-intercept is, my y-coordinate is always 0. So think about that for a second. No matter where I am on this line, so where I am on the x-axis, my y-coordinate is always 0 because I'm not going up or down any units at all. Okay, and same thing for the y-intercept. For my y-intercept, if I were trying to find this point right here, the point where the line crosses the y-axis, my x-coordinate would be 0 because I'm not venturing off my y-axis at all to the right or to the left. Okay, so in order to find an x-intercept in any equation, not just linear equations, we will plug in 0 for y. Okay? And the reason we plug in 0 for y again is because our y-coordinate will always be 0 at an x-intercept. And whenever we are trying to find a y-intercept, we will plug in 0 for x. Okay? So let's take a look at this example. What is the x-intercept and y-intercept of the following standard form equation? So for the x-intercept, remember, y equals 0. So I can already make my ordered pair. Remember, x goes first, followed by y. and my y is going to be 0. Okay, so I'll rewrite my equation over here. 2x plus 3. Instead of y, I'm plugging in 0, and remember it's 3 times 0. This doesn't become the number 30, equals 12. So 3 times 0 is 0, because anything times 0 is 0. So we're left with 2x equals 12. So to get the x by itself, 2 and x are being multiplied, so I'll divide by 2, and divide by 2. These 2's cancel, and x equals 12 divided by 2, which we know is 6. So I can take this x equals 6 and plug it in for my x right here. So I know my x-intercept, or where my line crosses the x-axis, is going to be at the point 6, 0. So up here I would go over 6, and I wouldn't go up or down anything. Now let's find the y-intercept. So for the y-intercept, just a reminder, I'll set x equal to 0. So I have 2 times 0, which is very different from 20, plus 3y equals 12. So 2 times 0 is 0, so we're left with 3y equals 12. So to solve for y, I'll divide both sides by 3. These 3's cancel, and I end up getting y equals 12 divided by 3, which is 4. So as an ordered pair, x always comes first. I plugged in 0 for x, and that got me 4 for y. So I know this line crosses the y-axis at the point 0, 4. At this time, you can move on to the example video for key components of linear equations in standard form.